Time to discuss all the decommitments and all the chaos in college football recruiting.
Locked On presents The Portal, the daily podcast covering college football recruiting and everything NIL. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Into the Portal Podcast, where you get your daily recruiting, NIL, and transfer portal scoop. I'm your host, Brian Smith, longtime college football recruiting analyst. Thank you for making the Portal Podcast a part of your day, every day, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. And we're going to be talking about decommitments, mostly in the class of 27, as crazy as it may sound, but with James Franklin's firing, that shouldn't be shocking. But there are decommitments at both the 26 and 27 class level. And then we're also going to talk about a handful of guys that are committed in the class of 27 over the last couple of weeks that are really good players as well. Let's not waste any time. Let's talk about some of the decommitments. And to be honest with you, this is a very awkward scenario. Penn State had a fantastic start to their 27 class. Kevon Spell, as good a player as there is in the class of 27. He's from McKeesport, a program just outside of Pittsburgh. That's a young man that could probably sign with any school in the country. He's got incredible athleticism. He's got size. He's 5'10", 5'11", 210 pounds. He's got the speed. He was committed to Penn State for a long time. Now he's back on the market. Every school in the country is after him. And there are several others as well. Penn State also loses Leighton Von Brandt, a kid out of Delaware that was one of the better offensive tackles in the country, had a chance to be a 5-star. He has decommitted. Gabe Jenkins, a linebacker, another kid in the class of 27 out of Pittsburgh, Amani Christian. He's one of the more athletic players back east on the defensive side of the ball. He has decommitted. And then in the 26 class, Penn State already lost to Matha wide receiver LeVar Keys. So that's 4 guys just right there that have committed and then decommitted in the last couple of days. Like Penn State's circumstance obviously makes this very volatile. I could probably add to this list before the day is over. I would not be surprised if I had another podcast talking about Penn State, because it seems like every pod I do has something to do with James Franklin's firing from the Nittany Lions, but that's the news as it is. Speaking of firings and impacting recruiting, Taj Overton from Owasso, Oklahoma, just outside of Tulsa, if I remember correctly, he has decommitted. Defensive lineman, 6'3", 270 pounds. Oklahoma State is in a very, very bad spot right now. With Mike Gundy's firing and not a lot of clarity, there's probably going to be more decommitments for the Cowboys. He's a kid that's one of the better players in the state of Oklahoma. I don't expect him to be uncommitted for very long. Taj is a pretty darn good player. Wisconsin also saw Tayshawn Bardo decommit. He was at Penn High School just outside of South Bend, Indiana. Wide receivers are something that Wisconsin needs, but he has decommitted from Wisconsin. And it's bad. Man, they looked horrible this past weekend. Wisconsin was really bad. Would it surprise me if Wisconsin saw 26 and 27 recruits just kind of back away, whether they're committed or not? Not really. There's a lot of discussion on whether or not Luke Fickell will be the head coach at Wisconsin. I'm not really sure how that's going to go, but we'll see. Also, let's just flip it over to the 2027 commitment board. Goodness, it's totally different on that side. It's all positive news and a lot of big names. Oklahoma's gotten 3 kids. They got Cooper Hackett, kid from Fort Gibson, Oklahoma, one of the best offensive tackles in the country, arguably the best. He committed, and they also got Caden Penny, another kid, one of the top offensive linemen in Oklahoma. He's from Bixby. That's one of the best programs in the state. He's gone ahead and committed to OU as well, and they're not even done with their recruiting commitments here lately. They also got Mikhail McCreary, a corner out of San Antonio, goes to Johnson High School. So 3 pickups for OU early in the 27 class. Congrats to them. Notre Dame recently got Richie Flanagan. His dad, Jim Flanagan, played at Notre Dame in the early 90s. His brother is also at Notre Dame. He's one of the top offensive or defensive linemen in the Midwest for the class of 27. Jabari Watkins, Thomas County Central, one of the best programs in Dixie, committed to Nebraska. That was an interesting pick. He's a pretty long and lanky athlete. I've had a chance to be around him a few times. Nebraska needs more guys out wide. Good pickup for the Huskers, for sure. Antonio Underwood out of Westfield High School in Houston, another class of 27 kid. All these guys are. Texas Tech, they're not stopping. The 26 class is pretty good for them. In 27, they're getting an early jump. The Red Raiders get one of the best defensive linemen from inside the Lone Star State. Georgia, Kyson Mallard, interior offensive lineman out of Westover in Albany, Georgia. Tradition-rich program. They've always got players. And then another offensive lineman, Kelsey Adams out of Langston Hughes, maybe the top talent-producing program in the state of Georgia right now. An offensive tackle, no shock. Georgia's always after offensive linemen. In the last 5 classes, I believe they've got 27 linemen, so that's not really a big surprise. Akeem Frampton out of Joe T. Robinson High School in Little Rock, Arkansas, a corner committed to Texas A&M. He's not the biggest guy in the world at 5'10", 150 pounds, but he can run. Georgia Tech, Keon Standifer out of Athens Academy, right down the road from their arch rival, the Bulldogs. An athlete, he's 5'9", 150 pounds. He's going to play for Tech. Brandon Allen Jr. out of Westlake in Atlanta, corner. He's going to play for Mississippi State. And then one of my favorite players that I've seen in class of 27, Alabama, gets Jatori Williams. He plays tackle right now. I don't know if he'll end up playing guard or tackle at the next level for Alabama, but he is put together. 6'5", 320, 330 pounds. That kid can move, really powerful. Big pickup for the Tide. Nash Johnson, speaking of Alabama, corner out of McEachern High School, just on the northwest side of Atlanta. He has also picked Alabama here recently. Zahir Mitchell out of Milton Academy, just outside of Boston. He's committed to Boston College. He's staying home. He's an athlete, 5'11", 180 pounds. Jalen Brewster, for those of you who didn't already know, maybe the top defensive lineman in the country for the class of 2027 from Cedar Hill in the Dallas area. Defensive linemen like him do not come around all that often. 300 pounds, really athletic, twitchy. That could be the number 1 player in the class. He's certainly going to be in contention. He is committed to the Red Raiders. Keegan Croucher, just as a reminder, I've talked about him before here on the show. Quarterback from the Northeast, headed down to Ole Miss to play for the Rebels. And then Elijah Pittman, a kid that I loved his sophomore film. The junior out of Northside High School in Warner Robins, one of the better programs in that part of the state of Georgia, has committed to Texas A&M. He's another one of those rare big-bodied defensive linemen. He's 6'2", 295 pounds. Nice pickup for the Aggies. Now, what is going to happen with all the different coaching moves and everything that's going on? I'm going to kind of give my thoughts on that after the break, because I think there's going to be a bunch of movement before the end of this month, and then especially starting in early November. That is next here on the Portal Podcast. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Betting on which quarterback's going to throw for more yards, maybe it's going to be the over-under, maybe you like the Super Bowl winner, whatever pick it is, player props, parlays, anything else you can imagine, you can have an opportunity at FanDuel. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and to get started. We are also brought to you by our friends over at Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you could end up leaving money on the table. That's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal financial tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your phone or on your laptop. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting. You can link all your accounts, see clear data visuals, and smart categorization of your spending. So if you're just trying to get everything organized, be a little more concise, a little more time-friendly for yourself, just that alone makes Monarch worth it, and it's going to help you save money. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONCollege. Thank you once again for making the Portal Podcast a part of your day, each and every day, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm Brian Smith, longtime college football recruiting analyst. Thank you for making the Portal Podcast a part of your day, every day that you have the opportunity to stop in. Love to have you. Now let's talk a little bit about the big box picture of what's going on. We have a ton of big games coming up. Seniors that are looking to flip, seniors that haven't made a decision, and some that are just being courted that are at least thinking about making a flip, are all going to be taking visits. Big games all over the place. Georgia hosts Ole Miss. Notre Dame hosts Southern Cal. You have games all across the South in the SEC. Big 12 is crazy. You don't know what games are going to have the most kids, but a lot of those players from Dallas and Houston are going to be traveling everywhere. It's a lot of fun to figure this stuff out as we go along, but look for commitments. Follow the visits to do it, though. Thursdays and Fridays, especially, you can get a lot of lists. You'll see information. Look for some commitments and some flips coming up. Nobody specific I'm talking about here, just across the board. But there are going to be a lot of really good visits that may surprise you. Kids travel more than they used to with unofficial visits. And to be honest, a lot of them are getting money to do it. That's how they can afford it, just to be clear on that. Iowa's got Penn State coming up. And while it's Penn State that's down, it's still Penn State. Iowa's going to have kids there. There are going to be a lot of crazy things that happen. And to that point, it works in reverse as well. As I started the show, decommitments. As teams fall off, Penn State being the latest example, you're going to see it. Wisconsin, they just had a wide receiver decommit. If they keep losing, 100%, they're going to lose commitments. It's how this works. It almost happens in real time, about as close as you can get. When teams fall off, decommitments happen. And to finalize here, just to be very, very clear, if you're a team that it's obvious it's trending in the wrong direction, make no mistake about it. There are people in some way, shape, or form, whether directly at the school or somebody outside the school, and a lot of different programs that are doing better, that are trying to not only poach your recruits, but poach your players. The transfer portal may not be open yet, but a lot of that stuff is done in advance. The transfer portal is always open in a lot of different ways, if you know what I mean. So players right now are starting to make their decisions on whether or not they'll be at the school where they currently reside. The teams that are falling off, those rosters are going to fall apart, quite a bit of them. And remember, the latest ruling by the NCAA with all the voting and everything that was done by the member institutions, there is only going to be one transfer portal window this year. So there's no spring window. That means after spring, if you've got a quarterback problem or whatever, you're stuck. You're stuck. So there's going to be two things that I think, this is my own projection here, that will transpire from January 2nd through the 16th when those kids are hopping in the portal. A lot of it will be done even before they are, but there's going to be overspending at the key spots, even more than normal. Offensive tackle, defensive tackle, quarterback, corner, those positions, and then any truly elite game breaker wide receivers, absolutely. So with that in mind, think about the teams that have fired coaches: UCLA, Arkansas, Oklahoma State, Penn State. Any of those programs, the list will grow. I still think Florida and/or Florida State can come open. All these schools are at risk of losing massive numbers of players to the portal. It's the era we're in, and that's not going to change. So there's a lot to be had over the next couple of weeks. Watch the games, the teams that have fallen off, especially ones where they were picked to do very well and it didn't go so well. Yeah, that could really spiral out of control. So anything is possible. And even a team like Oklahoma, who was just in the top 10 until the Texas game, with their schedule coming up, with the way that the quarterback situation is and their offense sputtering, maybe Brent Venables is back on the hot seat, and then that could flip. Anything is possible in college football. It is going to be a wild next 3 or 4 weeks, and I hope you come here to the Portal Podcast to enjoy it each and every day. Thank you very much. We will see you again soon on the Portal Podcast.